everyone, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here, and welcome to another virtual card and a cuppa. So it's the third Wednesday of November. So for those of you who don't know, I do a card and a cuppa event on the first and third Wednesday of the month. You can purchase kits. It's £5 for the kit for both weeks. And they get posted to you, and then those of you who are able to come in person, come along to the home grange, to the craft village, and we sit and have coffee, tea, and make our cards. Those of you who can't make it, then I go live here on the afternoon, so that's why I am here. So this is the kit, or the second kit from November. So I'll just run through it for you very quickly. So as always, there's an envelope. There is a piece of real red cardstock. So this is A4 cut in half. And a piece of basic white to go inside. There's also a strip of double-sided paper. Now, my sample here, this paper is actually from the Regals 6x6 designer series paper, but the kits that everybody had, the paper comes from the July to December catalogue, and it's the Heartwarming Hugs paper. So this was, some of you may recognise it, it was in the July to December catalogue of 2020. It was so popular that Stampin' Up brought it back this year. So that's the paper that the kits actually have in it. So yeah, and then I've got a larger piece of the double-sided paper. So again, there will be a different piece, and then I have a third piece which is to go on the front. And then there is a rectangle of basic white. You can use this for sentiments or whatever. And actually, I didn't use it in any of my samples, but I will this afternoon. There is a die cut piece, and I don't know if you can see. This is shimmer white paper, and the shimmer goes all the way through, so it is shimmery on the back side as well, just in case you make a bit of a boo-boo and you have to turn it over. So there is that. Then there is a die cut piece of real red, which some people have had to poke out the pieces. Other people's were lucky to, they all fell out when I was cutting it. I've poked mine out. So this originally started off as a square of real red, and then the die, which is from the Encircled In Beauty Dies, and I'll show you these. So this is the die that I use. It's just that piece and that piece. So I die cut at the same time. So it cut out both the inside piece and around there. So that was nice, and it was relatively quick to do. Sometimes you have to go backwards and forwards a few times, but it's not too bad. So I put it through like that, and then it automatically cuts out the circle in the middle. So that's that piece. There are other dies in this, which are rather nice. So they all make circles. So this one would just cut a border. This one too would be border, but then there will be an embossed circle in of dots in the middle, and then obviously smaller and smaller. So you can layer these, you can do all sorts of these, but I decided that I would use them today to make a medallion. So as I said, they're called Encircled In Beauty Dies. There's 6 of them in there, and for those of you who don't know, there is a sale on at the moment, and it's a seasonal sale of items that are in the annual catalogue, and these happen to be in the annual catalogue. So when I was doing this class, prepping for this class, I didn't know what was going to be in the sale. So I was very pleasantly surprised to find out that dies are in the sale, and there's 20% off. So if you want these or any other of the dies from the catalogue, then please let me know, or you can visit my online store. And the sale ends at 10:50 tomorrow night, and that's the 18th of November. So that's basically the kit. And I'll show you the cards that I took with me. So this was the first card. As I said, I didn't use that strip of basic white. So I simply glued the larger piece of the double-sided paper on, and then the other large rectangle. I carefully glued, so when you're gluing this, because it's so fine, you want to just put little dots on like the largest pieces, so this is not actually glued all the way in. But before you glue it, you would want to actually sit this real red piece on top of that and stamp through it, so that you know that your sentiment is central to where you want to be. And then obviously you can then glue this on, and then the whole thing was then fixed onto the card front using Stampin' Dimensional, so the foam pads. I added a little holiday rhinestone, and then in the middle, so I actually made use of, apart from the piece, that small strip of the basic, I used everything. So this was the centre, this piece here. So I stamped the same sentiment, and then I glued my strips, rather than, quite often I would normally put my strip of double-sided paper down the side there or along the bottom. Thought I'd be a little bit different, and I would glue it across the middle and then add the circle. And then obviously I can trim and then stick it inside the card. So that was my first card. My second card, I actually thought I would do something slightly different. So again, I didn't use every single piece. So I didn't use the fancy medallion bit, but this is the piece of shimmer cardstock, the white shimmer. And I simply just, where is that kit again? Took this piece and I cut up on each of those, obviously making sure that I didn't meet in the middle, because if I did that it would all fall apart. So I did that, and then what I've done is the sentiment here, I stamped it on the real red circle, and then I put double height foam pads, the Stampin' Dimensionals, underneath it to fix it to it, and that way then you are able to get a little bit of height on what you could then call petals. I mean, you could go further with this. You could take out your sponge daubers and daub the edges and all sorts of things. But I just thought this would be quite a cute, simple birthday card. And this is the one that I just simply glued in the paper on the inside. So this sentiment, the happy birthday to you, along with the warm wishes for happy Christmas, actually come from a stamp set called Best Year. So it's red rubber, so you just need your clear blocks. So here's your happy birthday, here's your warm wishes, and they fit just nicely on those circles. And obviously there's other sentiments that you could use as well. Not all of these will actually fit in that space. But I thought these were quite nice examples, and I like the fact that a lot of these sentiments, they have different fonts. So the warm wishes for a happy Christmas, that's and then happy birthday, the birthday is highlighted in a different font. So I like this stamp set a lot, and I do actually use it quite a bit. So that's those two, and then I decorated. I just found a stamp set that had a flower on that was simple, and I decorated that similarly. This I used the Words of Cheer stamp set. So I did actually use some of these other sentiments on the next card, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I just used this piece here and just stamped in the corner. So my third card, I kind of went to town. Again, I still didn't use that white strip, but hey, just because it's there doesn't mean you have to use it. So this is kind of along the theme of the first card that I showed you, but this time I actually stamped the sentiment on the circle, and I did, in fact, I don't know if you can see, I can't actually see what's going on because I don't have it. I know if I decide to play it, I'll probably lose my internet connection. So I did actually put some little stitching, just used a real red marker, Stampin' White marker. So just dots and dashes, but you don't have to do that. So I used my memento for the sentiment. So this sentiment comes from the Words of Cheer stamp set, so it's sending you Christmas cheer. So again, the medallion part was glued onto the Shimmery White. This is fixed on with dimensionals, and then I added a real red satin bow, which I made using my ribbon. So it's called Double Stitch Satin Ribbon. It's very shiny, and it makes nice bows. It's easy to make bows, although it can be a bit slippery, so you do need to be careful. And then I just attached that to the card front, to the medallion, with a glue dot. And again, there's various dimensionals, so there's dimensionals here and there's dimensionals under that part as well. And then, pardon me, I added some of the holiday rhinestones. And again, on the inside, I put my strip of double-sided paper. Those of you who have the kids, remember you do have to put the strip on before and trim it. I always give us a piece that's slightly too long, just so that I'd rather do that, and you can trim rather than it be a little bit too short and you're kind of sort of jiggling stuff around, just trying to make it work. And then obviously this piece of double-sided paper, before I glued it onto the card front, I banded it, and I'll show you what I did for that. And I've only glued the top. So this is has been left, so you can curl it if you want to use your fingers, or if you use a bone folder. So that's the third card. So I guess it's time to show you, or actually sit and make a card in front of you all, and figure out what I'm going to do with this. And Erica, bless her, came to Card and A Cuppa this morning, and she did use her piece of basic white, and so I'm actually going to kind of case what she did. There's nothing wrong with that, I should add, but I just thought it was a good idea, so I will share it with you, and then you can see for yourselves. So first off, I'm going to, before I stick this, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So I'm just going to line this up, and I'm going to use this one again. So it's Warm Wishes for a Happy Christmas, and I'm going to stamp it in real red. So this sentiment, as I said, comes from Best Year. So I'll just make sure that there's nothing on the edges there. Nope. And then I just have to hope that this is going to be straight, although it being in a circle, it doesn't matter too much. Now, when you're stamping on the shimmery white paper, it can take a couple of minutes, or at least a little bit longer than you would normally expect if you were stamping on normal basic white. So I'm just going to leave that for a minute, and I'm going to do the inside of my card. So I've got my white, my large piece of white, and I've got my circle. So I'm going to do what I did before, but I'm going to use a different sentiment. So that says Warm Wishes for a Happy Christmas, and then taken two of the separate stamps. So I've got the happy from here and the Christmas also from the Words of Cheer, and I've just lined them up so that when I stamp, this will say Happy Christmas. I'm going to stamp this in black. There's no reason why you can't stamp in the same colour that the cardstock is, and have a tone on tone effect, but I quite like the idea of having it as in black because it will really stand out then. So there we go. So that's that. So that's that piece. So I'm going to glue this across, and obviously you can put this really where you want to. I'm just going to glue it there. So 9 times out of 10 when I'm making a card, I will use liquid glue. So I use my Tombow multi-purpose glue. It gives me some wiggle room, and it means that if I do make a mistake, I've got time to actually then sit and quickly move it around. So I'm going to use my grid paper to line this up so that I know that it's straight from left to right. And then I'm going to cut off the excess. So as well as the dies being on sale in this 3-day sale, there are also cardstock and ink. So now is a really good time to stock up on the essentials. Ooh, don't mind with that one. So the cardstock has 10% off. The classic ink pad, so that's the Stampin' Up colours, has 15% off. And then, as I said, the dies have 20% off. So it's an absolute bargain, and even more so if you combine it with the current starter kit offer. So it started a few days ago, and you can purchase the starter kit. Normally you would pay £99, and you can choose £130 worth of goodies from any of the catalogues. But till the end of the month, you can actually still choose £130 worth, but it only costs you £75. Now, it's totally up to you as to what you then want to do with your kit, whether you just want to save on your future purchases, because one of the neat benefits is that you get 20% off the net catalogue value. So basically take off the VAT, and then you get a discount of 20% on that, with the opportunity to earn more should you want to. Although it's called a demonstrator kit, you are not actually required to demonstrate. Obviously, if you are looking to set up a business, your own craft business, that's great. But I welcome people who just want to be happy shoppers. So it's really up to you. And then what's more, you can add items from the sale at the discounted price. So your £130 worth of goodies actually will go a bit further. So it's a really good deal at the moment. So I said I was going to show you how to do this banner. So what I've done is I've taken my piece of cardstock paper, and I've just cut a small amount up the middle, and then I'm simply going to cut from the corner point to the top of where I've cut, like so. So that's my banner. So that can go on there. Now, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the piece of basic white. So again, I'm going to cut up the middle, cut from the corner to the point, take those two pieces out. Now you could also use punches, so there are square punches and all sorts of things that you could use as well, but this is by far the quickest way. If you don't feel comfortable, then obviously, yeah, by all means use a square punch. And then this is going to go on here. And then I just need to decide how far down I want the white piece to be showing. So let's see. I'm going to take that off for a second, and I'm going to just start gluing this all together. So I'm going to, first of all, going to put the big bit of the big banner on. And it's up to you whether you take your glue right down to the edges or not, to the tips of the banner. But I think I have on this one. Let's see now. Should really line this up using this, and then I know for certain. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a bit. So it just needs to get over slightly, not much. And then that's okay, that'll be fine there. Okay, so that's that, and then we're going to do the same thing again with the white. Now this one I'm not going to completely glue all the way down. Let's check that there's enough space for this. Bum, bum, bum. I don't know why I'm actually lining all that up at the moment. Yep, that's fine. So again, I'm going to, you know what, I'm actually going to cut this off first, because then I know. So I'm just going to hold that in place with my fingers and then cut it off, because then I know that that's the length that I want it to be. So I'm not taking that one right down to the tips of that. Now I could work it out so that it's fitting on here, like in the middle. Oops. See what I mean about having some wiggle room? It's only supposed to wiggle. I'm not supposed to be able to like move it completely, but that's fine. And then I need to glue this carefully. As I said, just go for like the larger spaces. And you don't really need to put big blobs of glue on. You just need a little bit. Because you don't really want it squelching out. So I went to I attended a Stampin' Up event at the weekend. So there's an annual event called On Stage, and we were virtual again this year, although there are plans to go to a live event next year in Europe. Can't tell you where yet, because I don't think the general demonstratorship knows where we're going. So it's kind of one of the perks of attending these things is you get to see things early. So I've already seen the catalogue that will be coming out in January. So I saw that over the weekend, and I was actually also able to purchase some goodies from it, which is nice. So they are, I was going to say they're winging their way to me, but actually they arrived. They're already here. So that is that. So that's going to go on here, like so. Now I could add a ribbon. I'm not sure that I want to be honest. Don't know if it'll be too OTT, but let's make one. So yeah, I even went prepared this morning with bows already made, because everybody loves a bow, but nobody likes actually making bows. So I thought, to save time, I would actually make them in advance. So this ribbon does make really pretty bows and easy to do. And obviously it's up to you as to how long a tail you want on it. I will. So I'm going to fix this to the right, that's not fixed to the card front yet, so let's do that. before I go any further. So if you are wanting the kits for December, you can order them direct from my blog. So if you go to oakvillecrafts.com and then click on classes, kits and stuff, there's at the very top, there will be a pop-down menu that will appear, and you can then order your kits for, actually you can order them for December, January and February, but certainly if you want the December ones, then they are there, because the closing date for ordering those is actually today. It's just so that I can get them all in the post to everybody, because the next in-person Card and a Cuppa event is actually the 1st of December, which sounds like it's absolutely ages away, but it's not. So, which is kind of not a good thing. I don't really want to wish the year away and it be Christmas, but it's kind of frightening, really. So yeah, so if you want to order the Card and a Cuppa kits, you can do that there. Let's see, let's move that out of the way and go there. And try and centre that in the middle. Hopefully that then's roughly in the middle of the card. That's good. I need a glue dot for the ribbon. And I don't know if anyone knows the trick for these. Rather than you trying to peel these off and put them on there, if you just take the item that you want to have glued to the other piece, just take it to the glue dot and press it on and then peel it off. So then you've already got your glue dot on the back, and you don't have to worry then about trying to transfer it and move it and do all that. So that's the ribbon for that. And then I think we're going to put some rhinestones on too. So these are the holiday rhinestones, which I love these, but I use them all the time now, much more than the basic rhinestones, simply because they're coloured. And yes, you can use your alcohol, your Stampin' blends markers on the rhinestones to colour them. And I do that because obviously the holiday ones are not every single Stampin' Up colour, but it's easier to use these, and they go with most things. So let's see, I'm going to go for, I was going to use my take and pick tool, which is good for this because you just use it and slide the ones that you want off. So I'm going to go a little bit different. So I'm going to use a green one, and I'm going to then use 2 red ones. So like that. Got bits from the die on there, and then I'm just going to kind of use my, I could have done this before I actually stuck it on. I don't think these, they're kind of will lift a little bit. So it just adds some extra depth to the card. So thank you, Erica, for coming up with that idea of how to use that piece of basic white this morning. She's probably just sitting there cringing up thinking, no. So that is my 4th card. Inside is done. Now I'm not going to put a rhinestone or anything on this, simply because if you put it on here and then you come to post it, it will come through the front of the card. You probably wouldn't be able to see it because of this. But that's one of the reasons I don't tend to put any height or other embellishments on the inside. I just try and stick to paper or stamps. Then I know I won't run into a problem. And then I guess the last thing to do is the envelope. So I'm going to get that stamp from the Words of Cheer. Now I'm going to ink all of it up. I'm thinking about it, I probably don't need to. Then I've got choices as to which way I want to put it on the corner. So I'm only going to stamp it on the corner. And it's really up to you as to how much you want to put on there. I'm just going to go there. And obviously don't Don't do this if you're crafting at your dining room table and there's a cloth underneath. Make sure that you've got grid paper. Now, oh dear, so that's not so good. I don't know if I can put this back on top. I think I can just about make sure, see what happens. Oh, no, that's not so good. Right, so don't do what I did then. You just do need to make sure that you push down completely. And you know what, I'm actually going to leave that. What I'm going to do is I will take my, I should have done this beforehand, before stamping again. Just going to take my marker and I'm just going to kind of draw in the lines. That's the easiest thing to do. Should have done that in the first instance, like that. Okay, and then I may even colour that in. I'll see how I feel, but it's not so bad actually. It's quite nice with that shadow. But there you go. So yes, so use markers rather than trying to stamp. Obviously, if you're using a Stamparatus, it's very easy just to go and re-stamp over exactly over the image again, but not so when you're trying to eyeball it. But hey ho. Right, so those are my 3 Christmas cards. So this one and this one is from this morning from the card and a cuppa. Then this is the one that I've just made, and then I've got the 4th, which is a happy birthday card. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing those. I will put pictures of these up on my Facebook page, and obviously this video will get saved to Facebook, and as soon as I manage to download it and then upload it, it will also be up on YouTube for those of you who prefer to watch YouTube videos rather than watching stuff back on Facebook. So thank you for joining me. As I said, don't forget, sale on at the moment. Is there anything that you would like? You can either email me and I will then contact you with regards to payment, or you can simply go online to oakvillcrafts.stampinup.net and order from there. So the sale ends tomorrow night at 10:50. Don't leave it to the last minute just in case there is a glitch. Shouldn't be, but I have this habit of, if I leave things to the last minute, I know things kind of can go wrong. Yeah, there's that. And then obviously if you would like to join the Acorns, love to have you on board with us. And you can, between now and 10:50 tomorrow night, also include sale items in your starter kit. Otherwise, it's £130 worth of goodies for £75. I think that's it to share today. I'll be back next week with stamping and creating, and I think I might do a sneak peek, but don't tell anybody. So I will see you then. Take care. Bye.